version of summer camp this year. Since we are in the middle of our COVID situation, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Miss Becky. I come and help Miss April every summer when I'm not teaching 7th grade science in Lamar CISD. But my children have helped participate as youth and have also participated in camp. So we are going to go through several different activities with you every week. And I'm your science facilitator, if you want to call it that. So let's go on to week 1. This week we are discussing the lesson of the mustard seed, and that our faith should be as basically able to grow like a mustard seed does. So let's think about what a mustard seed basically is. It's the beginnings of a plant, right? And a seed is going to grow and develop, but it needs several things in order to do that. So I have a plant, our version of a plant drawn behind me, and let's think about the things that it requires. Well, first of all, it needs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, which is the gas that we breathe out and all other living organisms breathe out. We also need water that's going to be coming from the rain that falls, and it's going to be absorbed by the roots. And then it also needs solar energy, or that sunlight that's going to help to allow the plants to grow. And this is done through what organelle in the plants, guys? Do y'all remember what that is? Anybody? Or is this a little too old for us?
A little too.
This is a chloroplast that is only found in plant cells.
I knew that.
So it's one of those specific things, but do we remember what the process is that plants use? Solar energy and water and carbon dioxide in order to make their own food. Yes, what is it?
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. And what is the product that's actually made by plants? What is the product? Oxygen. Okay, and oxygen is released into the atmosphere that you and I breathe in because our body requires oxygen. It can't do anything with that carbon dioxide, but plants do. So there's a couple of things that we're going to be looking at with our plants this week. One of which is the xylem. Xylem is it's like a straw that goes all the way from the roots, all the way up to the leaves, the stems, and up to the flowers, to the very tippy tops. It's going to pull water, like a straw section, all the way up because every single cell requires that water. Okay? Now, the way that we're going to do this, I'm going to show you this, is I have some white flowers. Okay? And you're going to need a little bit of help with this if you decide to do this at home. It's not difficult, but it's very, very effective. What we're going to look at with our flowers, I'm going to actually take one of them out. I want to cut it at an angle. Okay? And I can see these tubes that are already going up it. You can go ahead and take off any extra leaves because that's just going to help. So unfortunately, they're already dead once you've already cut them. Okay, and you get them at the store. White is the best for this because it'll show other colors that we're doing. But once you have these cut at an angle, you can cut them under the water or not. It's totally up to you. You're then going to put them into another vase or a cup that we're going to fill with food coloring. Now, make sure that you put as much food coloring in there as you possibly can. You don't want it to be light. You want it to be nice and dark. So these I started yesterday. Now, unfortunately, it's not going as quick as I want it to. It normally takes a little over 24 hours, but I can see the tip is blue. And if I go ahead and cut this, and I'm going to let it rest a little bit longer, it's not to this blue section yet, but I put that back in. If I continue to cut some of my stem, I'll see just how far it's gone. Okay, I can see the difference between blue versus not. So I can already see that straw is being pulling up this water all the way up to the top. So eventually, hopefully by tomorrow or even the next day, because these flowers will continue to be pretty, they won't be white anymore though. What color do I expect these to be?
Blue.
Blue, or a very, very light blue. So the more food coloring you put into the water, the darker your color will be in your flowers. And there's some great time-lapse videos out there, Mom and Dad, if you want to go look for those on YouTube that show you how to do this, that you can even split your stems and do 2 different colors at the same time, where they're in 2 different cups of different colored water. So I also did some in pink or in red, and those are working at that too. So but these are just examples. But again, this is showing our xylem action of our the water being pulled all the way up to the top. So the next thing that we're going to do, guys, and this takes a couple of days, Mom and Dad, for this to actually completely work, but it's so worth the effort. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to basically create your own chia pet for you to grow at home. So you only need a couple of supplies that we are not providing you. You need an empty plastic bottle, preferably with the lid so you can have that pressure inside. Doesn't matter what it is, if it's a water bottle, Coke, Dr. Pepper, it doesn't matter. It can even be Sprite, which is colored green. It's totally your call. Whatever you have at home works perfectly fine. But you don't want to go too big on those bottles. So no 2 liters. Do like a 20-ounce bottle or something a little bit smaller. But that works. Okay, you are also going to need scissors, glue, because we're going to make this into a person. So what is not done without the googly eyes that you're going to get? And of course, if you want to draw an expression on your bottle, you can do that too. And it's definitely better to do when it's dry and empty versus if it is full of water. The things that we're going to be providing you. This is perlite. It's a growing medium, kind of like soil, but it's completely white. We'll be using this in our knee-high stocking that you have, and you also have a small container of Bermuda grass seed. We're going to be using all of this. So we've put enough in there that it's going to grow beautifully into this little socket. It'll be great. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is we want to remove the wrapper around your bottle. Okay, and then when you hold it flat on a surface, open your scissors. Mom and Dad, you may want to help with this, definitely, because you need to puncture the bottle so that we can actually make a cut into it. Again, this is where the pressure really does come in handy. Once you have a hole done in it, Joey, if you'll do me a favor and follow that all the way around. Cut off the entire lid. Don't throw the little away or the top portion. We're going to need that in a minute. Okay, so now we have a container. If you want to trim up the tops, the edges, you can. Remember those googly eyes and such? Since this is going to be a part of your family for a while, I would highly recommend that you make it something that you can look at. If you want to give it a name, you can do that too. So I would glue my googly eyes on and give it a face.
They're self-adhesive.
Ooh, they are.
His name was gonna be Bud.
So he has eyes. We'll also give him a nose, give him a nice little smile. Kind of like if you were making your own snowman, except he's gonna be a chia pet. So we're good to go with that. Now this lid we're going to be using, because you'll actually be taking the lid off and inserting it into here. But we'll get to that in just a second. So we're gonna put that to the side. All right, so next you take your knee-high pantyhose, and these are new, brand new out of the box. Guys, not used, so please don't worry about that. You're going to go ahead and basically gather it all the way up so your thumbs are inside, but it has like this little well that you're going to have at the bottom. Take your perlite, so your kids can help you with this. Either one of you can do one part, the other person can do the other, and then you're gonna pour the seed in first. Joshua, can you pour this in for me, please? Pour all of the seed in. So of course we want the seed in at the top, because after all, we want all of the seed to be basically his hair. Okay, so I'm gonna take moving all my perlite down to more of an area to make it more circular. Okay, notice I can see the seed. It's that blue, so it's a darker part at the tips. If you choose that you want to take some of that perlite out, you can, but gives it more of a personality if he's nice and big. So once you have it all nice and knotted and kind of made more into a circle, the whole idea is that it's actually going to sit into here. So you can even cut off some of your knee-high pantyhose. Not all of it. We need some of this to be our stem that's going to go down into the water to get the water that's going to be absorbed. We're going to thread this through the top. And if you have to readjust this a little bit to sit into your lid, You want that to happen. Okay. Now, before we can do this, we still need two things, right? We need water, and we also need sunlight. So, you're going to, and actually before you totally have this totally immersed, you're going to want to go dump all of this into water. Just literally fill up your sink in the bathroom or at the kitchen, immerse it several different times until it's basically wet, the whole thing, all of it to the tips of the pantyhose. You'll fill up the water, basically almost to the top, because then when you put this inside, it'll actually have an area that acts as a wick to absorb the water up, like our xylem that we talked about. And it will then, you don't want it to overflow though. Sit it in a sunny window on a windowsill, and within a couple of days, maybe a week, it should start to sprout. And you will see these little bitty things, little hairs coming out of the top. Don't be worried if it takes longer than that. This is Bermuda grass seed, so it should sprout fairly quickly, but don't get discouraged, okay? It's gonna take a little time. Just like it takes time for your faith to grow in the church and to make sure that you completely believe in Jesus, this takes time too, okay? If you have any questions, please let Miss April or myself know. If you need to go back and rewatch directions, and I think we'll have a PowerPoint available for you as well, with a step-by-step so that you can do this with your child as well. Thank you so much for being with us this week. We'll see you again next week.